I'll cover, but still I'll be speaking something more. Am I audible and my slide is showing up?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible and the slide also showing.
Okay.
All are okay, sir.
And thank you very much. So I thought that I will be speaking about impact and opportunities on tourism, hospitality, and retail sector. Let me speak a little bit more about NIMSM, National Institute for Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprise. We are the mother organization for entrepreneurship. So our students are the entrepreneurs, and they make the jobs, they create the jobs, and this is under the Ministry of Micro, Small, and Medium Enterprises. So our job is pretty great job, which I feel that we create the entrepreneurs who build this nation. And I'm talking about this particular tourism industry, 10% of the contribution it gives to the national GDP. So it's a pretty dominant segment, and majority of the players in this particular segment are micro, small, and medium enterprises, because they are the people who actually work over here, being a supplier, being like hotelier, being the pantry, being anything you name it, even the roadside samosa store. They are also part of this tourism, and they are the players into this entire ecosystem. So my job is uh, done pretty simple. Basically, my earlier speaker, he had spoken a lot about this particular tourism sector. But if we look at this effect and impact of COVID-19, uh, this slide is showing that tourism and leisure sector, aviation sector are the potential losers. And especially the education sector, it's into orange, but it is also under the potential loser. And we are all into education, capacity building, this particular sector. So if COVID-19 never would have happened, then most probably I would have been live, and never we had to take this kind of session virtually. But when it is virtual, it has got so many advantages. So many people came from different parts of the globe, and they are basically connected, especially with the students. And if you look at the most potential winners, medical supply services, food processing, ICT, e-commerce, these are the potential winners. So this is the total job sectors or the current scenario. Now, right now, when we are talking about the post-COVID impact, it is very tough to talk about the post-COVID impact, because still we are undergoing this particular pandemic. So we are not fortune teller who can speak about that what is going to come after COVID, but we can always say that what are the things going to happen in a very short run, because uh, my background is from marketing and IT, and what I understand that right now when we talk about IT, we talk about basically Industry 4.0. So IT 4.0. So 4.0, why we say that first one, when human race was there, we used to go for hunting. From hunting, we became the farmer, because farming is giving us more yield and less risk of life, because in hunting, generally we used to get hunted. So farming was giving more yield as well as lesser risk rather. Then from there, the industrialization, that is the industry 3.0, industrialization came. And when industrialization came, then that time most probably within a farmland, some factories came in, and over there, some of the people, they started doing mechanization, and they started getting more yield compared to farming. So that's the human race and our history, civilization, industrial revolution happened. And after that, IT came. It didn't occupy that kind of space, but it's giving more yield, more profit margin, but much lesser life risk. At the same time, when this IT revolution started, that time, internet became very pertinent. So I'll be speaking about that in later part. So next slide is, I won't be spending much time on these challenges because my earlier speaker spent a lot of time on this particular area. So I wanted to show all of you on this particular slide, and I wanted to say that human race never stops, whatever happens. So all this revolution, industrial revolution, whatever happened from hunting to till IT, um, somehow or other, all the challenges has been seen by the human race as an opportunity, and industry adopts it, people adopted it, and today we are here where we are doing a virtual webinar. So if you look at this particular advertisement given by Clothing Manufacturers and Traders Association, they have given will not supply in the same pace the way it was in during before COVID. Fast payment, fast supply. If somebody pay us faster, we'll supply him faster. Good returns, no business. Absolutely yes, because if the good gets returned, so no business happens. Extra discount, advance payment can be given. The if the somebody gives the advance payment, so we'll give the discount, and no supply will be given when pending payment is there. So these are the ground rules coming in some of the sectors. So most probably in coming time in tourism sector also, a lot of changes will be happening. Many of the changes like adoption of the IT and technologies had been spoken by my previous speaker. But what we see that most of the regions has severely impacted right now, and the uncertainty is of course there because we don't know what is going to happen. Brand image is very important. It's not the brand image of the hotelier or the tourism place or other places, but it can be also the brand image of the nation. The nation, how we are fighting against COVID. Because, see, nobody will love to go to Wuhan right now, where the COVID-19 started, even if you give him the free flight ticket and the free hotel lodging. So brand image of that particular space is very important. And I feel that in India, and in this unlock phase when it's going on, in one side the contamination is going up. Most probably by next week, it will be reaching to, world contamination will reach to more than a crore, I guess. And by that time, we are also open up. So many people, we know that there is a risk, potential risk, but at the same time, see, when I'm doing this, I'm sitting in my office and there is nobody nearby. So social distancing is maintained. We are using the mask and hand sanitizers. So all these precautions we are taking so that we stay away from the COVID-19. But at the same time, life, livelihood, these are all together. So most probably this has to go hands in hand. If life is there, livelihood has to be there. Or if the livelihood is there, then only life will be saved. So this is the biggest challenge for the human race currently. So we are basically going through this particular dilemma. We are not that lucky like you. Like maybe you have got some leave and you can work from home, but we cannot work from home. So we have to be in the field, in the ground. So, and also if you look at the doctors and the people who are into essential services, they were not into having that kind of leeway. They had to work. So scenario is like that. And so how a country basically fights COVID-19 and how they come out with that, that creates the next level of the brand image, that how that country has basically get away of this brand image. I mean, get away of COVID-19. Now, there is a saying that one of the presentation I was there a few days back, somebody was saying that any pandemic or any disruption happens, like the last disruption in 2008-9, or maybe previous disruption on 2000 or 2001, bubble boom and all. Generally, this devastates the economy for at least for 1 to 2 years time. So 1 to 2 years time, the business will adapt differently and it will again thrive. And I think if something starts, that has to have an end. Or where there is an end, there has to be a beginning. So it will be a fresh beginning, and we are calling it as a new standard of opening up. So we'll be seeing that how the things will be there. And tourism authority must promote and reassure tourists that destination because when they are on the lockdown stage, they thought that let us go to some place which is more safer. So, and ecotourism in different parts of West Bengal are getting very famous. You know that. So, what actions exist for the global crisis situation? So, these are the couple of points came up in my mind. One is, of course, safety and security. This is very important because otherwise tourists don't travel to that particular place. Flexibility has to be given to the customers because now we are not getting any customers. Everything is closed down. The social distancing means in a restaurant where I was allowed to give the space for maybe 30 people, I'll have to only allow 10 people. Even in the temples, that is the kind of scenario. So the frequency or the gathering of the people are prohibited. So in that kind of scenario, my profitability goes down. So maybe I have to open up 24 hours. Maybe as a hotelier, I have to think of that if anybody cancels his or her booking, so I have to accommodate that particular thing so that because customer is king, so he might be having some problem, so I need to accommodate. So flexibility has to come into the business, otherwise we won't be able to attract the tourists. Hospitality, of course, this is very important, and most probably this will go to the next level, as the previous speaker talked about that the smart rooms and all. I was looking into certain presentations previously, which where they are predicting that now AR, artificial AI, I mean artificial intelligence, then augmented reality, virtual reality, all these things will come in. Maybe a tourist will go to a place, but will not be going to a place which is a lot of potential of gathering. So a country maybe he or she is visiting, but he or she would like to see that place through virtual reality. So technology interventions will come a lot of place. So the new normal dimension for tourism sector is basically the responsible tourism. The people, the tourists, they will be more taking responsibility, and at the same time, this sector, the providers has to be more sensible, and they have to also take more responsibility because we are talking about clinical level hygiene. Now, hygiene is one of the factors which has got different layers, and the highest level is clinical level hygiene. That is what is maintained in the hospital. So you imagine that will enhance the cost, and at the same time, I'll be receiving the less tourists. So there has to be a profitability. So somewhere we have to work out and we have to find out. But of course, this is the time we need to know more about this particular infection. Our people, they need to be trained to how to handle this kind of pandemic. If suppose some tourist gets COVID infection when they are staying with us, I should not get panic. Rather, I should have that kind of capability to put him into the right kind of medication scenario. I need to have monitoring, checking, and all these segments will come in. So I am not talking much into detail, but the point is the show must go on. It cannot stop. And the prediction is that by August or maybe by September, this will open. But of course, when the country had gone under lockdown from March, so we are talking about 2021 March. So it's a 1 year. There will be a very bad phase, but industry will recoup with it and will come back. So remember this particular word that life will never be the same the way it was before COVID-19. The human race will be fighting this. I know that many of us, we are aware that the antidote came or will come into the market. But there is a data which talks about that even if in India we get an antidote and we start feeding all the people, it might take. So now, what about this team, which was with me and I was doing a good business? So what is the current scenario? So I'll be always talking. I teach, and I may. These are for the business people. So you have to keep your team at tandem at the same level. That what are the current scenario is happening. The unity has to be there. At any point of time, the crisis happens. There will be so many differences within starts, but this is the time when you need to find the unity within the family, within the your workplace. So everybody has to fight this the external crisis. So it's and this is very important. Take advantage of the slow period because this is the time when the business is slow. As my earlier speaker talked about, that you have to become multi-skilling. This is for the students. So if you get a job, you try to pick up certain cross-functional skills. You just pick up certain skills which you have the interest to pick it up. Now, most probably the next 10, 15 years, there will be there is a prediction that at least 40% of the job functions which we see right now will be redundant in coming times. In another 10, 15 years, types of new job functions will come in. So you understand when my previous speaker was saying that you will be looking for more experienced people. Now the first question comes to the mind of the student that an experience. So this is very important. Any employee never miss you if you can deliver him more what he pays. So this is very important. So you need to think like a businessman. Maybe you'll be working with some people, but you need to understand that the guy who will be paying you money. So you take the advantage during this time and start yourself multi-skilling. Involve staff members in action taken to prevent COVID-19. This is important, as I told you previously. Looking for new normal, this is going to be the new normal. So naturally, we need to know how to do the marketing for the new normal kind of scenario. From this, we draw a common pattern, like all need to opt for communicate their actions based on security to their customers. They have to be talking about the safety, security, hygiene about those places, tourist spots or their hotels or their restaurants. So they need to talk about it to the customers that how they are maintaining the hygiene, safety and all. Need to transmit a clear message about what they are doing to confront if they get affected or if they get affected. Like there is an ad from Chile Tourism, Ministry of Tourism. Chile is the name of a country. So from there, they have said that if anybody comes to our hotel or our country and gets infected to COVID-19, their entire treatment cost will be paid by the government of Chile. So this kind of message has to go from the government or maybe from the hotel or maybe from the tourist spot. So that the people who will be traveling, they will feel safe and secure. Aim to remove doubt by promoting maximum hygiene measures being implemented. So maybe all those hygiene aspects or maybe the laundry or maybe the plates, everything, how we are engaging technology or how we are doing it much better way. So all these things we need to portray in our website and we need to communicate with our people. Need to engage your customer and open towards flexibility. This is what I said in the first point, that we need to be very flexible. It's not that emergency support is also very important because we really don't know. Our generation or our previous generation who are living, they had not seen this kind of crisis. So we really don't know where we are going. But at the same time, we are always optimistic and we are sure that something is going to happen. Now, the greatest potential, which I personally feel is my opinion, that e-commerce is going to flourish into retail side, and this is what is the biggest opportunity is coming in. So maybe 2017 Amazon data, if we just dig in, we'll understand that in one night, that was the Diwali night, we have actually in that Diwali night Amazon sold more than $1.5 trillion. And in that, 60% sale has happened from the tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So this has immense potential. And today, majority of us, we are buying from Amazon. And that's so, like this delivering process through mobile, ordering through mobile. This is right now happening thing in this, especially in India, and we are adapting it very fast because we have very young and energetic people around. So naturally, we are adapting this. So e-commerce potential in India to cross USD 80 billion, that was a prediction in 2018. And 2020, that prediction was USD 80 billion dollar. So you imagine that the potential what we have in e-commerce. In government, we are also adapting e-commerce, and our procurement. Like in India, government is the largest buyer. So we have GEM and CPP. That's the central portal for purchase. It's all central government organization. They purchase through this kind of sites, and it's a centralized procurement portal. GEM is also like the same. GEM, where we can get some small goods like even stapler pin also we can buy from GEM, through GEM. And CPP is little larger volume of the tender value. So these are all the procurement processes started in India, and government, which you feel from outside. Even I was the outsider a few years back. So we used to think that government of India is not that kind of updated, but when we work, we see that we are adopting a lot of, electronic technology, and e-retailing will be flourishing part in coming time. So most probably the less human intervention, more of the delivery accuracy and quality of the goods and services will be the three key areas on which we'll be harping upon. And there are so many other government apps are there. Digital India, under the Digital India initiative. One is Sugama, another is Bharat Abhiyan, another is Bhim. Today, majority of us, we are sending money through Google app. So that's one of the kind of technology which government of India allowed and given it to Google or many other sites, so that we can transfer our money electronically under the Bhim. That's the Bhim payment app. And EBs, Electronics Department Fund, and digital locker. So many apps are there. And right now, I'm sure that everybody's mobile, you have Aragya Setu, that is from the Ayush, Ministry of Ayush. So we are also updating so many things into electronic side. So this area will be looking for more of the talented engineers who will be able to build, and a lot of retail activities will be happening, which will be happening into the logistics and supply chain side. So it's not mandatorily that people who are from retail, they have to go to the retail small. It can happen that you may be working under Amazon, because Amazon in Hyderabad, we have set up a huge area, and Amazon is flourishing like anything. I'm not saying only Amazon, maybe Flipkart also. So there, the retail people who will take that as an occupation has a huge growth, but entire business will be driven by the digital economy and the digital money. So these are different data. I don't want to discuss and on all this data. Uh, if you look at this particular thing, actually the impact, what I said, that in one night, huge sale has happened. And if we see all this data, we'll understand that e-commerce is actually giving more profitability to the retailers. So it's not mandatory that if everything I have a store, that means I have to be only a brick and mortar kind of situation. Today, Big Bazaar, they have adapted e-channel. If you look at any of the big retailers, they have their e-channels to sell. So it's not mandatory that even if I am a brick and mortar store, I cannot go to click kind of situation. So both the channels are the different channel, but ultimately for an entrepreneur, the money is important, and for the people who are surviving on all those businesses, that money and profitability is important. So it had been found that profitability is much higher into e-commerce than the brick and mortar kind of situation. So as the future, what we talk about, that e-commerce and supply chain optimization is going to happen in a very big way. The delivery might be done by the drones, the hotel, the food distribution will be done by the robots. And this is how the technology intervention will come in and change the entire landscape of the business. The robot, which the picture I'm showing over here, this picture has been taken in one of the restaurants in Jaipur. So this has already been started. So this is going to be the future. And we are all optimists, and that's why today we are here. I don't know how many people are right now listening to me. Most probably 84, yeah. That's a big number. So thank you very much to all of you to give me chance to speak in front of you. And because of optimism, we are here, and I'm optimist in both this segment. And I'm sure that all of you will be trained under particular this college, and you have a great future. I wish you best. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your words of wisdom. It will be very glad pleasure to us to listening you again in the next webinar.
Thank you very much.
Really, sir, it's really the informative for the topic, and especially, and let's move on the question answer session. Okay, so I would like to ask to all the participants, if anyone having the question regarding the two speakers regarding the topics, you can ask directly, or else you can comment in the message box, in the chat box. Okay, so I think before starting, just I will ask a question from Pulak Chakraborty sir, the Dr. Pulak Chakraborty, the HOD of the economics. He's asking, the small hotel can.
So you have to prepare a business plan, and you have to adapt the future. Otherwise,